Hello everyone, and welcome to another Rose Red Tarot reading. My name is Rose. Today I thought of sharing with you doing a Grand Cross or Celtic Cross tarot reading for myself. This is something that I will do maybe once a month. This past year until January, I would do it once a week. But I was going through a lot, and once a week, I asked for just the week ahead to know what to prepare for. Now I'm not so week by week, so I probably last did one 2 weeks ago, and I think a good time to do it or to get your friend to do one for you is when the outcome of the previous one has already transpired. So my outcome in my last one was judgment, and I feel that that has occurred like a week ago at least. So I'm ready for an update. So I'm sharing something kind of personal with you through the imagery of my reading here, but it might be interesting for some of you in your own readings if you get some of similar card combinations. How to see how I combine them. I cut in 3 and I picked the deck that speaks most to me. So, self, present, obstacle, hope and dream, past difficulty, last of present, next of future, future environment, outer influence, hope and fear, outcome. Bottom of the deck, yes. Bottom of the deck, we have 6 of Swords. I also always write my readings down, and I take a photo of them because I'm a Virgo Mars. Okay, so I use the bottom of the deck as a general theme of the reading, and this is relocating, moving. For me, the other meaning would be recovery. So recovering from a hard time, recovering from a bad situation. Self card. So interesting. Kind of want to turn all the cards before talking about them, but that's not how I read. I read a few cards at a time for myself. So I'm gonna try to, and I don't talk out loud when I'm doing it for myself. So this is gonna be a challenge. Oh, and I write stream of consciousness, the messages that I get. Being able to do something financially, being supported financially. Holy, I don't think I've ever gotten 3 court cards in these placements. Present environment. Interesting to have this as the present and not as the challenge, and this as the challenge. But I'm getting the message. 1 second. Okay. So we have King of Discs as self, which means being able to move, being supported to move, having material ability to move, abundance, stability. The present situation being trying to be unsentimental, just factual, strategic, logical about this transition, and the challenge being struggling to not continue to want to be helpful and physically present, on site, giving and helping. Queen of Discs, this is also father and mother, right? Or a couple. So this being my situation now, how I'm being, or how my current self is being described, and this being the challenge, shows that I can't do both. I can't leave and be present. Discs to me are involving the physical world, the material world. So she's staying, she is physically present and giving and helpful, which is not possible with this. So it's saying presently I am dealing with this urge by being just factual about what is really feasible, what's really sustainable. And we'll see, but it sounds like I'm saying this is not feasible with this. I have to be like this to get to this. And of course, these are both swords as well. Above is what is for your highest good, what the best case situation is in this situation, best case scenario. And this is talking about, I'm getting the phrase, feeling like you're still well thought of, even if you move. You know, a lot of people talk about Six of Wands being just victorious. Yes, also hoping I'm victorious at doing this, but it's also reputation, public opinion, public image, looking good. And so it's like, I don't want to be thought poorly of for leaving. Past difficulty. I'm gonna look at the two pasts at the same time. I see this as getting along. Previously, it was hard to, previously I maybe lost my willpower, motivation, or ability to smooth over disagreements. So it's talking about that not being a problem anymore. And what has just happened, correction, good behavior, doing the right thing. A good way to picture the Hierophant, in my opinion, is to imagine that you're in a holy place or a spiritual building or monument is what you're doing, or your behavior. Could you comfortably talk about it there? It's talking about getting your act together spiritually, being the opposite of Jerry Springer. So that just happened is kind of like saying, I recently became more aligned with how I should be behaving. I'm going to look at the two futures at the same time. Bright future ahead, more healing. I'm really seeing Temperance today as physical healing. I've been working a lot on that. So that's really cool. To me, 3 of Wands also indicates a waiting period. So waiting for the next good thing. I used to get 3 of Wands a lot for, will we reconcile, what will happen? And I was always confused, but now I realize 3 of Wands is a positive way of saying, like, better things are coming for you that don't involve this. So it's a no, basically, for reconciliation in my experience, but it's saying, like, it won't even matter. You won't even be thinking about this in the future. Such broadened horizons spiritually or physically are out there for you. And I also see it as scouting out where you're moving to, looking on the horizon, seeing these locations, seeing these properties. So it's talking about better things on the way in the future and improved health and healing. Outer influence. Oh, that's lovely. I'm very happy. This is comforting me that this other person will be fine when I leave. That the influence of them is going to be them becoming more independent and self-sufficient and enjoying their time alone. And I'm also seeing this as going into the spring, them being able to get outside and work on the property more and beautify things is part of how it's going to be easier for them to be alone. Hope and fear is just indecision and a lot of back and forth, fearing that there will be a lot of back and forth and hoping that there won't be. Holy shit! What the hell? What the hell could this possibly fucking be? This is terrible. I really do not need this. How can you have such a positive reading and end with that? I'm gonna ask for a clarifier, please, for this before I cry. You guys don't understand, like, shocking. Can I please have a clarifier for this tower? What is this tower referring to? Wow, my throat just started closing up. Not a happy sight here. All right, might not be as bad as it could have been. We have 3 clarifiers. I don't know if this is like a fear response. All right, it looks like this tower is not referring to physical health. So that's good. All right. What are the phrases I get for this? These clarifiers, tower clarifiers. What's the word? Shaping up. Okay. This tower moment, this tower transition is talking about the other meaning of tower, which is rather than like some shocking accident or devastating blow, it's talking about the utter transformation, utter with T's. Oh my God. The utter transformation from nonsensical dreamer kind of childlike behavior or approach to determination, patience, focus. Justice between them is showing the huge leap, the big transformation between these two approaches to life. Various things you could say are shaping up from being a dreamy child who's not in reality, who's just coming up with all these nursery rhymes and playing dress up and living in a fantasy world, to someone just taking things seriously and being determined and patient and completely focused on reality and on improving their situation and on being responsible. That's the cool thing about tarot, is there's numerous cards that can mean similar things but in different intensities. So Tower is the height of intensity for a transformation. You live in a house, the house gets hit by lightning, it is a pile of rubble. You just have to build a new house, and this is talking about the house of childhood, or the house of being irresponsible or being just a dreamer and not dealing with anything in the real world. That house being what's the word people use? Flattened. I forget the word. Raised. Which is for the best and the right thing to do. The right thing to have happen to become this. So I'm very relieved. When I first saw that, it's like, I do not need another fucking like emergency situation. So, but it's a wake-up call. That's the word. Wake-up call. Now, to see the progression of things leading up to this. Okay, you're supported and patient and rational. I'm getting better, and the other person's getting better. So the progression of this to get to this is this dramatic shift from this person to this. The last thing I always do is I look at the imagery. So we have Taurus season here for timing. Which is what Wendy Bones said in my personal reading with the incomparable Wendy Bones. You can search her here, Wendy Bones Tarot. We have Taurus season, April, May, with the bowls on his throne. What a beautiful card the Queen of Discard is, eh? She has fruit and a goat and a cherub on her throne. And of course, she has a rabbit in her yard. Much like someone else I know here. We also have going from 3 to 1 with 3, with their back kind of to these wands. So I do see this as moving from considering the other two people involved to that it's not that I don't care about them, but I'm looking this way now to my future. They're not directly involved in my decision making and everything that I do. I also feel the books that I've been guided to read these past 6 months, like before I didn't read a novel for a long time. So this past year I've read 5 or something recently. So that's part of this transformation too. But this scene here in the 3 of Wands reminds me of David Copperfield, but also in Great Expectations, them trying to bring the convict up the river. So just the imagery in these books is guiding me as well, I believe. Because David is, I don't want to ruin the book for anybody, but yeah, just the fact that he's so young and is fending for himself and deciding who to reach out to, where he belongs, where he can be safe. I see that in this future card here. It's interesting too, the triangle on Temperance's chest. To me, the message is you go from completely interacting with this 3 to them being surrounding you, but behind you, supporting you, and you looking to your future, and then moving further into the future environment. You carry them in your chest, and you're working on your own thing. You're healing your own thing in front of you, but they're always in you. the messages you can get from this stage of a tarot reading for yourself, where you finish the general events, and all you do now is look at the imagery and get the messages just from the imagery, is very powerful, and you get so much more out of it, in my experience. This falcon, for the outer influence, still has its falcon hood on, right? So it's also talking about the strength of this person, not fully revealed to them yet, and that it's going to be a slow process with the snail. But that they are supported in the material world. I don't even want to look at this, but and going from these silly artistic outfit, this costume, to this wearing a suit of armor. That's mainly the color of the justice robe. And of course, we have the scales here. I'm a Libra. So I almost am getting the sense that it could take longer than I expect. That this reading's this isn't sudden, actually, because of the landscape of this and the color. Combined with how long this normally takes. I'm getting the feeling that it's referring to a health thing being for top priority, becoming top priority, and this moving thing as being a process of maturation, is the word I hear. The next to the future is continuing to look and heal my body as I look, and that once I've gone from this to this, it will be quick. That the moving is waiting for this transformation. I feel like I have more questions though. I think I'm gonna ask for a clarifier for this temperance. May I please have a clarifier for temperance here in the future environment? Wow. Yeah. Look at that. You want a clarifier? This is like a full therapy book here. Working on your grief, working on your mental health, working on your negative thoughts about the past. Healing inner child. A lot of these words, these topics that are trendy, I guess, on social media, like inner child work, toxic masculinity and fascial adhesions and are so real. They're so the thing that it's trendy because it's finally mainstream. All this stuff that was never either known about or acknowledged before is so dying to be addressed in, not even just in the media or something, individually, that now it's trendy and it should be trendy. And I didn't say it to you when I saw the Temperance card, but to me that's the emotions trapped in my fascia and the memories that have held something back. And so when I saw the Temperance card, I thought of that. I thought of this is referring to this taking a back seat, not in terms of how much effort I put into this, but this actually not happening, and this health thing happening more day to day in the coming weeks, because the past 3 to 4 days, that's what I've been doing, and I've noticed I feel so different already. And it's just pressing and rolling on the fascia, like with firm pressure for a few minutes at a time until it releases and new fluid can move through it. And those your locked feet or your locked thigh or your locked hip or your locked stomach, it's stiff because that's how emotion gets locked in your body. And now that it's been open and that it's moving, this is what it's talking about, the work that I've been doing on that. I have changed. You become different. And it's almost as though I locked it to protect myself from the feelings that I locked in there. And now they're free to go. And they're not all negative feelings. They're like powerful feelings that affect my behavior. And I wasn't happy with my behavior. And so I guess I locked them up. So this is just like, you knew what this was. Why are you asking us? Absolutely. Absolutely. People, I think that people are seeing now issues with their body, with their physical form, are not a fluke. Even an injury, like a sports injury, that didn't happen just at random. It was a symbol of something else. And I think people are becoming a lot more open-minded and patient to the concept of a much greater meaning to their life events, rather than thinking of it like, oh, I have this injury and I'm just gonna have to suffer through it for the rest of my life. I'm injured, I'm damaged, I'm this diagnosis, and that's me for the rest of my life. And seeing these physical things as your challenge. Your challenge to heal your inner child, for instance. When you feel the emotions that injury came out of. what you were feeling at the time you got that injury, or how you felt when you got that injury, how the people around you reacted to it or ignored it. Dealing with that dynamic is part of your lesson and journey in this lifetime. Like your body as a guide to what you need to do spiritually. That's what's happening. And I got such a strong message from this reading that I don't even need to ask about the timing of the move. I understand. The move is based on my ability to continue to open up this locked emotion and process it and understand it and feel my old self coming back as those emotions move through my body. Even things like, let's say you have, like you can't digest anything, like you're sick every day. To see that as a metaphor rather than you're actually just eating something that makes you sick every day. What is making you sick? Like what makes you sick? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it shame? Like what emotion are you suppressing every single day that would affect your digestion? Or would make your feet hurt, or make you get a migraine? Like our body is trying to talk to our mind. Our body's trying to tell us where we're at. I feel almost like our body is our inner child. Like our inner child's in there. And it's like a dog can't tell you I injured my foot. You know, it's the body's silently telling you in the only way that it can where you're at emotionally. Anyway, thank you for joining me. That was really insightful for me, and I'm happy to share it with you.